Yo, 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 yo. Oh, I probably can't do it like this. God, I'm signing off. Yo, 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 check this out. Check this out. This is Jamal. Run, tell that. Run, tell that. We in a very special place. A very special place right now. I swear to God, we in a special place. And bam, y'all see who it is? Because many of y'all been asking about it. Y'all want to see. He is right here. The Gullahsmith, the man, the legend. He ain't no mythology because he's real. Bam, I can touch him. I can touch him. Gilbert Walker, preservationist, reenactor, historian, artisan, all that rolled up into one. A community man. We are glad to be here in his laboratory. We're in his laboratory. Gilbert Walker. Glad to have you here on Run Tell That. Again, to those of you checking us out, share this information. Now, Gilbert Walker, what we got to do before we roll into some of this other stuff, because people want to see all this right here. They want to see all this and understand what's going on. But we going to ask you, who are you?
Well, one, I'm a Gullahsmith. A lot of people don't know what is a Gullahsmith. First and foremost, I am a blacksmith. I chose the name Gullahsmith because of the fact that there aren't any more African American blacksmiths. At least I found at least 13 guys since I started in 2004. So I had to come up with something very unique as far as the name. And since I am from Savannah, Georgia, I'm right along the coast, and my family happens to be those Gullah Geechee people, I figured, I stand out amongst a lot of people. And what I mean by that, that we aren't doing blacksmithing anymore. We were imported, we were enslaved for this skill level. And so I want to be a little more different. Since I'm Gullah and I'm a blacksmith, why don't I join those two together? I'm the Gullahsmith.
All right. You got that. You got that. So now we're gonna ask you, who are your people? That what we doing. One tell that. Who are your people?
From Hilton Head, South Carolina. My people. Greens out of Hilton Head, and you had the Robinsons out of Walterboro, South Carolina. My mother was born here. My father was born and raised there, and so I'm from Savannah, but my people are from South Carolina.
All right. So now we're gonna ask you, who inspires you, or who inspired you?
Well, this happened by chance. I wouldn't say so much who inspired me at first until I got to know that we as a people, did this for a living when we were in Africa. We as a people did this to survive after the Civil War. And but everything kind of died out. So what was happening was I was a police officer. for Savannah Police Department. I rode horses, one of my many things that I like to do. And there was a blacksmith, his name was Gerald Doublet. And I was amazed by how Gerald would put the horseshoe, piece of metal, into the fire. And then he would just manipulate it in a way that he wanted to bend it and what have you. So I used to just look at him and talk to him about it a lot. And but one day after Gerald had shoed a horse, and matter of fact, bring this out, Gerald is a blacksmith, but Gerald is a farrier. He does horseshoes. They are blacksmiths, but they're called farriers. I am what you call an artist blacksmith and utilitarian, but artist first. So back to patrolling downtown in Savannah on horseback, I could hear this distinct sound, ting, 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 and it sounded like a blacksmith. I'm going, what is a farrier doing downtown? You know, and I went to Lincoln and Bryant, and there was a guy, looked like Albert Einstein, white guy, white hair, just smashing away with a hammer. Ting, ting, ting. I got off my horse, took the horse into the station. He looked back and he was like, he started laughing at me and he said, yeah, man, I'm a blacksmith, but I'm not a farrier. I'm an artist blacksmith. And we became friends. His name is John Boyd Smith. So from there, a little inspiration came. You know, I got an idea since I'm a carver, you know, I wonder if I could do that. And I wonder if blacks did this type of work. So I asked John, and John said, yeah, there was a guy, Philip Simmons, out of Charleston, South Carolina. And so it was not so much the inspiration at first, but me coming to that, admiring John's work, John telling me about Philip Simmons. I went to go meet Philip Simmons, and then the two of them just like, wow, blew my mind with what they could do with metal.
All right. So now we're gonna get into this, Gilbert Walker. This is, what song inspires you? What song gives you that? What song? Songs. It could be a song or song, because that's how we do on Run Tell That. So what song give you that? Or songs?
A song?
Yeah, song or song.
Well, I love Negro spiritual, but there's one song, I said, a gospel song called In the Garden. And that's something, because I love my planting, you know, I love being in the garden. That's very spiritual to me. So if there's a song of songs, it's called In the Garden.
All right, we got that. So now we're gonna roll into it, because that's what everybody want to know about. Mike Kelly said, Blacksmith, wow. Sister Betty Jones right here on here, Sister Terry Mobley in the house. That's right, we right here in Savannah, Georgia right now. We're in the bowl, we're in the lab. This is the lab. And y'all heard some things. I'm gonna throw some other things out there to you all about Gilbert. He might not like me saying this, because he's gonna probably get pissed off with me when I talk about this. I ain't gonna say nothing about no koi ponds. When it comes to koi ponds, oh my God, bam, Gilbert Walker, but I'm gonna leave that alone. And you heard some other things too we're gonna talk about too. He's a sculptor, he knows how to carve. That's what he does. When I told y'all, bam, he does it all. Gilbert Walker, why do you do this?
You know, this is strange. Everything that I do, or as art, came by chance. Myself and a brother and two sisters, we were latchkey kids. And, you know, my mom, dad separated. And I was 5, 6 years old, keeping my brother and my sister in the house. And we were given coloring books. We started coloring, we would run out of pages to color. And then we would take pieces of paper and we would trace the drawing. And then you started freehand drawing that same picture. So we didn't need anything. So by chance, we developed that skill. My sister, Sonia Walker, a lot of people may know of Sonia Walker's creation, Sonia's creation. But then the carving came. You know, I got married, you know, after living alone for a little while. And my wife and I, you know, had a disagreement. So I went for a walk along the marsh. And I saw a piece of wood. It looked like a drummer. Somebody was playing the drum. So I took the wood back home and I started carving it, you know, with the knife to see if I could bring that thing out. And I still have that piece. And then, like I talked about the blacksmith thing, it was just by chance because of what I saw and what I heard. But what I think, Jamal, was happening is in the DNA.
Go
There's
ahead.
no formal training or anything like that. Like my brother and my sister, we learned that, we developed it throughout the years. But this is something that's in the DNA. You know, I tell people all the time, all of us have plenty of talents. We have lots of talents, but sometimes those talents don't come out except for by chance. You know, we have kids that are born into the world who are prodigies, and playing the music, they're mathematicians and what have you. Then others, it's just by chance. So I think it's just in the DNA, that African DNA.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Cecilia, glad to have you here. Sister Henrietta, glad to have you. And Terry Mobley saying, this is just amazing, African blacksmith. So, why is it important to deal with this art form that you're dealing with, that people now recognizing that, hey, this is somebody that is carrying on tradition? Why is that important?
Well, one of the things that's a good question. It's important because we were actually enslaved. You know, when the world came to Africa to learn, and they came in there and we welcomed them. The Africans welcomed them. And then they went out back to their countries and they came in, they took what they wanted. But these people were just like anybody else. They were people. They were doctors, they were lawyers, they were mathematicians, you know, they were fathers, they were mothers, and what have you. But these people were talented. And for some reason, parts of the world figured we'd enslave these people, you know, so that they could build for us. It is important to me because with the art of blacksmithing, I want to show that these were people. I want to show the many talents that these people had inside. They weren't slaves, they were enslaved. And for me to start telling their story, you know, it's very important to me. I tell a story from slave to soldier to freedom, a blacksmith story. I want to tell the human side of those enslaved Africans, these artisans, these people who had gardening skills or agricultural skills, what have you. When you come to my house, you know, walk to the back garden, what have you. I love my plants, and so I do my herbs and what have you. These people tilled the land. These people had a culture that was unbelievable, so unbelievable that they had to be stolen. They had to be stolen from their own country. So the human aspect of who these people were, I want to incorporate a lot of that in my book. So it's very important that I tell their story.
So you are, I'm asking this question, are you a visionary? Are you a visionary?
I would call myself a visionary. You know, I dream a lot. And I remember one year, my dreams went away, you know, and I prayed to God, please bring my dreams back, my dreams back. That's what keeps me going. These dreams, these visions that I have. You know, most of my work out here are stories. You know, they're childhood stories. They're stories of people's lives. There are biblical stories, and there's one particular one I would love to show people that, you know, just taking something out of the Bible, you know, and incorporating that story into my metal work. One particular one I would love to show you guys, you know, just to see how much talent. When you look into yourself, guess what you find? Things you didn't know.
So yeah, now people want us to walk around, they want to see, but you know, we be having a conversation right now. So I need to ask this question of you also, Gilbert Walker. How do we get young people involved in this? How do we get the next generation? Because as you said, you're one of the rare ones. You say 13 of you all in the entire country?
Since 2004, I found 13.
Okay, found. Okay.
Most of those African American blacksmiths are nice. They do a particular type, just like these farriers. He's a blacksmith, but he just works on horses. You know, he shoots different animals. Right. And these blacksmiths are nice. So It's a certain skill level. But what I want to do, what I have discovered, when you bring children around this and they see it, and they're fascinated by this and their eyes open up, I look for that one. I look for that one who just eyes start glowing, and that's the one. I'm going to just pull to the side because for some reason I think that's inside. But this is a skill, even though we don't have a lot of African Americans doing this type of work. But this is a skill that you can do several things with. And as an artist blacksmith, yes, I'm going to, once I retire, I'll make this my job. This will be my day job. And it's very lucrative. It's hard work. It's brutal work, but it's rewarding. And most of my products and pieces that I work on tells a story about a people. But for those folks who are inspiring to be artists or what have you, be great practice or skill levels and what have you, just to bring something to the table.
Now, here goes. Some folks are asking questions right now. They're asking questions. Are any of your artifacts on display outside of Georgia in the United States?
Outside of Georgia, to tell you the truth, I don't know. I've sold many pieces from going to different shows and what have you. A lot of these people come from all over. I don't know outside of the United States. I'm not sure. I never sold one to someone outside of the United States that I know of. But these people could have been from outside the United States.
Okay. And supposed to ask them a question. Is there a museum or items sold? Do you make items by request? They want to know. I told you. The people want to know.
I do have a day job. And most of the time I'm doing this on the weekends, or like right now I'm here at night. I was just working on what I call my scrap metal bottle tree. But I have a bottle tree at Pinpoint Heritage Museum. It's a 9-foot bottle tree. They commissioned me to do. Also have a piece at the, believe it or not, the Chatham County Sheriff Department firing range. It's a 9-foot wingspan of an eagle. It was for Al St. Lawrence Memorial. And it has an old-time Western badge on it and an olive branch. There are several pieces that I've sold to people, like wine racks. I love muscadine vines. I love doing nature. So these things, I'll sell to people. Or oyster shuckers made out of railroad spike. That's a gimme too. People love those things. But most of the time, I'm doing things on the weekend because, like I said, I have a day job.
And Reverend Betty Jones said her grandfather was a smithy, was a blacksmith. Reverend Betty Jones right here. So yes, So people are excited because you're preserving something, and especially when we go and talk about saying, what are our young people? How are we invoking them into this right here? Because that's important with regards to all of us. Because that's why when I share with y'all, Gilbert is also a preservation. He is preserving a part of our story, a part of our culture that is essential. So it's not just he's an artist, but a preservation and a historian. So that's why it is so key and so important about the work that he's doing. This is not just something that's fanciful. This is something that is real and factual that we need to have. And so that's why we're proud with regard to the things that he's doing with regards to this art form. And so just to throw something out there, for some of y'all, I'm going to tell y'all, it is something called Nyama. That's Nyama Kala, and some say W. Yamakala. When he talked about the profession of Africans on the continent, the Yamakala was tied to the force called Nyama, Nyama. That is a force that is unharnessable. It is almost like a Jinkin warrior. It's like Jinkin warriors, because you can't control a Jinkin warrior. Just to let y'all know that you can't control them. You can control everybody. A Tommy Wolverine, you can control them. You can control them. Beach High Bulldog, you can control them. Savannah High Blue Jacket, you can control them. Saucy Johnson Ashford, you can control them. Winter Forest Night, you can control them all the time. islands in New Hampshire, yeah, y'all definitely can be controlled. But you can't control it. But you gotta have somebody to come along who can control it. And one of the people who can do that is the blacksmith, the Yamakala. So this force, this uncontrollable force, that when he talked about with regard to hearing that ting, 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 and he was amazed at how this metal is not being molded and shaped. That's the power of the smith. And so what he is doing something that goes back centuries, centuries. This is not something that's say 600 years ago, 400 years ago, 300, 200 years ago. This is going back centuries. So what you're looking at, he is a living link to that story. That's why we want him to be on Run Tell That. We want y'all to share this right here about my brother and let y'all know that he is my cousin also. So that's a shameless plug for our family because that's what it is. He is the blacksmith. I'm the wordsmith. So that's what happened. And we got Debbie Williams Walker. She is up there saying that her family also tied to smithing because they say a lot of y'all got it. And so now, guess what? We can tap the power within him so that way it can continue on the next generation. That's what this is about. My brother, absolutely honored to have him because he's doing something going back centuries. And just to let y'all know this, Gilbert also can sing. Just to let y'all know that he can sing. He can draw. I'm just letting y'all know he does a bunch of stuff. So when it comes down to it, that vision that he talked about, that vision, I was touching my head, that vision that he was talking about, he able to manifest it because he's able to bring it out. And that's what all of us got to do, those divine purposes. Right. So my brother, that's why, again, it's an honor to have you on Run Tell That. And we got, again, our family on Run Tell That who are all inspired by what you're saying. And so that's what it's about. So, anything you want to take us to in here? Because again, we're here. We're in your laboratory.
Yeah, let me introduce you to some of the work that I'm doing. And like I said, these people were dehumanized. You know, and I want to bring back, you know, that humanization. Show you some of the art that I know that these people were into because these people of the world were amazed by the Africans and their sense of value, their sense of family, you know, their artistry. And this was known throughout the world. So let me take you over here and show you some of the things that we're doing and what I'm trying to introduce back into African society just to show how great these people were.
And now here go Reverend Betty Jones said that we need to teach our children the crafts of our forefathers, what they did. Then here go Debbie Williams. She want to talk about her great grandfather was a blacksmith and he learned the trade, you know. And so again, but then she's trying to say nobody can control me. That's a lie. Don't talk about me right now. I got family here. Bam. Yes.
Well, this is a piece that I'm not doing for anybody in particular, but this was from a dream. This was from a dream. I do reenactments. I also do movies that basically depict slavery. And this was something that I came up with. This is called Faces in the Wreath. As I go along, I'll put certain things together. I'll put pieces together. Like I said, it's not for anyone, but it's a story. Here you'll see the vines, the vegetation, and everything that's in here. And I'll put more elephant leaves up here, but it'll be huge. And these vines right here go to muscadine vines. But what we have here, you'll see one face, but there are three faces that go along with this. And in this, you have, why I call it Faces in the Wreath. The story is you have three enslaved Africans that escaped from the plantation and they went to the marsh to hide. And in that, they actually died. Okay, you can still see the chain that will connect them. But they found that they thought it would be so important to them that they would rather die in the marsh to be free than to be in chains. So you'll see their faces, those three faces in here, You see more muscadine vines, and you'll actually see a snake in here. Since they went to the marsh, that's a dangerous place to be. You know, you have poisonous snakes, you have crocodiles, you have spiders, evidently. But these three escaped to the marsh where they actually died. And the faces, even though this one is not made of stone, I have one just like it and two others that are made of stone that I basically molded. The artist, his name is James Felt. This is his work. But I love the faces that James had, so I made molds from the faces that to incorporate it into a piece of work. But this is just a story of faces in Greek. And let me show you this one over there.
Yes, you say your vision.
This is another project that I'm working on. I don't know if you guys can see it very well. Usually I have a background here. But this is a gate that I'm doing. And this particular one is supposed to go to a cemetery. But you will see the vines that are going here. Like I said, I love doing nature, you know, vegetation and what have you. But these are vines that will extend into here and all over the gate. This particular gate goes to a cemetery. But now look, you have two Adinkra symbols. And if you are familiar with Adinkra symbols, the symbols basically, I call them proverbs. They're words of wisdom.
Oh, yes, that's what they are. Yes, sir.
Words to live by. And so what I do is incorporate those things. So when you walk up to the gate, you can actually read it. It'll tell you a story, so to speak. And in these stories, this is our culture. So taking these ideas, the culture, African culture, and putting them together so we can be exposed every time. Every time. You know, this is what we need in our home to be exposed to our own culture. We need to see this in our yards.
Yes.
You know, I found out something. But this one right here, we used to see this every day. So we were exposed.
Yes, we were.
We were exposed, but we didn't know what it was. We did not know this symbol. This is Sankofa without the tail. This is Sankofa. This is Sankofa. And if you know your Adinkra symbols, there's a saying that Sankofa gives. Go back and fetch it. To go back, reach back, and get your history. We were exposed to this as little kids growing up, but we didn't know it when we saw it. You know, so this is what I want to do. I want to expose our culture. I want to put it in your face. You know, so this is what I do at the shop, and I'm actually working back here now to make a bottle tree, what I call my scrapyard bottle tree.
Yes, indeed. And now just to throw us out there to you, those of you part of the Run Tell That family, what is going on here, that this symbol, and some of y'all know about furniture, and y'all might know about a famous furniture maker that comes profitable, in North Carolina, well known in North Carolina. That's some of the best furniture. Thomas Day. Thomas Day is an African. Thomas Day was infusing the Sankofa symbol. This is 1800s that we're talking about. Still keeping it alive in North Carolina. They talk about Thomas Day furniture. Y'all see the fine furniture stores, and they talk about that. People not realize that Thomas Day was an African. That's what he was doing. Sankofa, say what word, Fina, Sankofa, Ayenke. Go back into your past and reclaim your story. So that's why it's so fitting with Gilbert Walker. He has reclaimed the story and not sharing with others. And then I think that one is Odu Inyufi Kwan. Love always find its way home. See, now I'm talking about our family. See, don't hate on us. Debbie Walker, don't be trying to hate. Don't be trying to can't control Jamal. I'm just saying, Gilbert, all of them. And guess what? I'm the shyest one in the family. Let y'all know that I'm the shyest one in the family. But that's what I'm saying. He has reclaimed the story, and that's why Reverend Betty Jones. That's why we got to make sure our young people can reclaim that story, so they will not have to deal with this madness of this world giving them lies.
Now this one is very unique. Now this one kind of tells on me a little bit all the fun that I had growing up. This is called Fish Out of Water. A lot of these things that I'm doing right now, I'm preparing myself for retirement. This is a gate, and as you can see, if you can see what that is.
Yes, you can see. Yes.
And there are going to be several other fish that will be placed in here. This will be somebody's gate. One day, call me if you want.
Woo, that's right.
Anyway, I got this idea because of the fact that I live on the coast. We grew up, fishing and crabbing and what have you. So I wanted to create something to remind me of those times. And I'm pretty sure there are people out there who did those type things also in their neighborhoods. The guys, we would just go to the marsh, play basketball. We would football. We would ball crabs. We had little sailboats that we made in the rain and let it float down the street, what have you. But all this type of work incorporates, me growing up. Me growing up.
Yes, sir. And so here go, Debbie Walker. Thomas Day was a free black furniture craftsman and cabinet in Milton, Caswell County, North Carolina. Born. Okay, I had said that. See, you had to check behind me to make sure I was telling the truth. But yes, that's right. And so that culture and the history. And so this right here, I'm gonna come close on that so folks can go and see again this work, this piece right here.
Now this is a piece I love telling the story about. In fact, let me bring that out. Now this is a piece called Aaron's Rod. If you could see it, this part of it looks like a staff, like a wooden staff.
Yes.
If you guys could look at this, see some of the notches from the branches and what have you. But if you look at that texture of what have you, it's kind of rough, just like you would have a branch or what have you. But as you come up, you see that branch is turning into a snake. You see nice green eyes right there. Well, this is Aaron's rod. And this is one of your stories out of the Bible. And I did this one day when I was invited to Charleston, to the American College of the Building Arts. And I wanted to tell a story from, something just to show a skill level. So I wanted to tell this story about Aaron and Moses, how they laid down their cane, their staff, and it turned into a snake. And now there's a message in this also
go ahead.
that I always tell. And it's about good snake, bad snake. I'm not going to tell the whole story because, especially for you Christians, you should know the story. That when Aaron and Moses laid down the rod, they laid it down before the Pharaoh. And what did their snake do? They swallowed the snake of the Pharaoh. Now you tell me, if God used a snake to show his power, what is that? A good snake or a bad snake? I think it would be a good snake if God. But this is the skill level I'm talking about. I use a piece of metal to depict a story out of the Bible. That was the skill level of these Africans. The world marveled at their craftsmanship. Things like this I want to bring out and tell about those people. But it goes on. The skill levels of those Africans, is in our DNA.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And to throw something out there to some of y'all, again, to tell that family what's going on with regards to snakes. For some African people, under tradition, mythology, the snake is a messenger of God. The snake is a messenger. That's why we don't look at the snakes as being evil. When you talk about what was it was a serpent that was in the Garden of Eden, a serpent. it is not a snake. So for some African people, traditionally, the snake is a messenger of God. So when Gilbert just said that, I'm like, again, what he's talking about, he's tapping in, he's tapping back centuries with regards to this.
And talking about the snake, if Jamal would hand down and show us the floor, we're standing in a river, a dream that I had.
Okay.
Where it was a river of snakes in my dream. And they were just traveling peacefully, and it was just so beautiful. And then across the river were elephants. The elephants were just marching across. And I thought it was so beautiful to see that. Yeah. And this happened years and years ago. So I said, once I open a shop, I'll just kind of depict that on my floor.
I'm going to have to say something to you, my dear cousin. We can no longer talk about snakes right now because Dr. Tanya Howard Hall, our school board representative, she is from FAMU, and so now she's talking about good snakes. No, we're not talking about no good snakes from FAMU. So again, we're gonna leave that alone. I just, but if you gotta talk about snakes, you go ahead and talk about it. But I'm like Dr. Tanya Howard Hall, no, ain't no good snakes at FAMU. That's all different. And so I'm gonna say to the Deltas who are on here too, don't get the big head because Gilbert got elephants right here. Don't get the big head because see, I already see what's happening. But again, run tell that. So yes, indeed.
Hey guys, you follow me to where the real magic.
All right, all right.
Right now, you're in my shop. We were just in what I call my studio part of the shop.
Okay.
This is where everything happens right here. I'm working on what I call my scrap pieces. I'm taking some scrap pieces to produce a bottle tree.
All right.
And these are just pieces of metal that I've used on other projects or what have you. And I'm reforming them, repurposing them, so to speak. Even this piece here that I got off an old piece that I found years ago, it rusted out and what have you. So I wanted to just take it apart and start forming some things. I just started working on it. As you can see, we got our first bloom of bottles here.
All right.
I'll have branches coming out from here, different directions and what have you. And hopefully I'll be finished with it, I'm hoping, by next weekend.
Oh,
I'll get a lot.
Okay.
But you have Sankofa standing by. This is a piece that I'll add to it. Along the bottom, after grinding out everything and trying to get it set, I'll put grass down here. So Sankofa will be standing in the grass, under the bottle tree. But guess what else is going to be down there?
What else?
The king snake.
And
you know what I called that? A snake in the grass.
Okay. But it's a good snake in the grass.
It's a good snake in the grass. Remember, a king snake. Look up king snakes and see how
That's
big
right.
they are.
That's right. It's not a FAMU snake, just to throw that out there for some people.
But also, I'm working back here to
I have to ask you a question because some of the listening audience and viewing audience, you just said something about bottle tree. Why are bottle trees significant? Because we can't let that pass because you said it. And somebody might say, bottle tree? What's a bottle tree? So why is bottle tree significant?
Well, in the African culture, there's some significance in reference to the bottle and the color itself. If you guys have heard of the ants, or the hag riding your back, or what have you,
yes, sir.
These are supposed to be mischievous spirits that came into the house,
yes,
or
sir.
that wreaked havoc, coming through there. And we've all heard those stories. So a lot of the bottles were hung in trees in order to fascinate these ants or ants from coming into the house.
Yes, sir.
And when the sun rose,
yes, sir.
They would come inside the bottles and what have you. And it would be the ants or the ants would be captured. So this is part of your African culture. Are there evil spirits or are there mischievous spirits running around the house? I don't know. But guess what? I love developing these trees.
That's right.
I love creating these trees because it's part of the culture. It's one of those folklore.
That's right. That's
If
right.
I ever woken up and the hag was riding my back, I know I'd have this stuff on the side of my mouth. I don't know what that is.
So yes, indeed. And so that's why the haints have to be gone by day clean. So now y'all begin to understand some of this. That's right. It resonates.
But this is one of my newest forges. Once I get the rest of the piping and what have you, I'll be able to create a fire that comes to the pot, and also I'll be able to control the metal with the heat that comes from the fire. So this is still a work in progress here. Most of my work I do outside for right now. But this one, hopefully I'll have done by the end of the winter.
Okay. Okay. Y'all are in the lab. The lab. This is the lab right here. This is Gilbert Walker, the Gullahsmith. The Gullahsmith. Run, tell that. Share all this. Share this. Share. Pass it on.
Now, this is, of course, one of my favorite pieces. This is an anvil. And one of the things I learned from Mr. Simmons when I went to visit him in Charleston, he talked about how the anvil would sing. With that pinging sound.
Yes.
That's the sound of the anvil. I love that sound.
Okay.
But if you ever heard of a blacksmith, there's several of them. But blacksmithing, you'll hear people say all the time that blacksmithing is a dying art. Blacksmithing is not a dying art. I've gone to several schools where you have people who are learning about blacksmithing. You have guilds dedicated to teaching blacksmithing. But in these schools or in these guilds, you don't find us.
No. You were a little low when you said that. Go back and please repeat that and say that again and say it louder. So yes.
In these schools and in these guilds, you don't find us. And I wondered about that when I talked to John Boyd Smith about why did he think that there aren't many blacks who are doing this work. He couldn't think of anything. And if he knew anybody besides Mr. Simmons, he didn't know anybody. And he was in it for 40 years.
Okay.
And I would ask other white European blacksmen, have they heard, they had friends or heard of any other blacks that were doing this type of work? And they would say no. And I wondered about that, what was going on? And I found out, at least this is a conclusion that I came up with.
Okay.
We don't want to do this anymore. It reminds us of enslavement. It reminds us of the ancestors. It reminds us of those people who were enslaved for their skill level.
Yes, sir.
For their skill level. Blacksmithing is not a dying art, but it is for us. It is for African Americans. But it is such a skill. The value of these people that they had to be enslaved for that skill.
Yes, sir.
So I had to do this. I had to do this for our ancestors. To remind people, you are great people. I love my culture. I love what I do. It's brutal work. It's rewarding, but the artistry of these were people, and they deserve their story told.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Powerful, powerful. And what are the items around, the array of items that you have here?
Well, these are most of the tools that I work with.
Okay.
You have your grinder, you have propane tanks, because I use modern equipment also. Of course, I got a couple of fans in here for when it gets hot. You have plasma cutters over here. I'll cut shapes, metal and what have you, and I'll take those shapes and I'll put it into the fire, and then I'll start moving to what I need, what I want to course, you got my workbench, you have other cutting tools, so I can cut pieces and what have you. And then I'll take them to the forge where I'll put the heat to them, and I start shaping the metal. The metal becomes very soft, and that way, almost like putty, but you got to watch this putty because it's nice and hot. Now, but there's one piece that I would love to show you guys, but we got to go back over here in the studio.
Okay. Now I have to say this: it's a lot of investment with regards to this.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot of investment.
This is a lot of investment. What you see here, this is a forge, and this is coal. A lot of y'all don't know about coal, but this is coal, and this is what I use along with sometimes propane or what have you. But this forge is attached to this piece, which is called a bellows.
Okay. Yes.
Well, what we have here is the bellows. Once I'm pulling this handle, it inflates the air. I'm pumping air into it, and the air comes out here. The air comes out here, and with this air or oxygen, this is how I maintain my fire. I feel the air coming out. I feel this. Now, this piece I built with the help of a blacksmith named John Roberts, and we worked with the Coastal Heritage Society, and we worked in the blacksmith shop there. And mainly it was for tourists and what have you. We made stuff, utilitarian tools or art tools or what have you. John was a utilitarian first, an artist second. I was an artist first, utilitarian second. And we would use the bellows there, but it was not like this. This particular bellows I actually take when I'm going to the plantation. I work with a group called the Slave Love Project. And what we do is we tell the story of those enslaved Africans when they were on the plantation. We'll come on Friday, we'll spend the night, that Friday night in the slave cabins, and we'll rise in the morning and we go out to do our chores. And so this bellow and forge would be similar to what the enslaved people would use, to do their work. One fascinating thing about that, the first time I ever slept in a slave cabin, I stayed awake.
I see.
I wanted to see what I was seeing, not seeing, what I could feel. I wanted to, and it was cold that night, and I wanted to just stay there, just to feel, maybe I could feel what they would feel.
Yes, sir.
The drafty air coming through the floor, the air coming through the sides, and the small space, a lot of them were small spaces, but you had 10, 13, 14, 15 people, 18 people at some of the plantations crowded into one room. But this story has to be told. And I'm one of those people who likes telling that story because I think so highly about you.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely important.
These were the best of the best. In the Middle Passage, several millions of people died on that trip over here. They were the best. Who survived, they were the best of the best.
That's right.
And now we're here telling their story. So we're survivors of the best of the best.
That's right.
And if we don't do something to help tell that story, guess what's going to happen? We're going to die out, and it's never been known about these people. That's what's going to happen. So I must continue to tell this story. And for some reason, the blacksmithing is one of those things that
absolutely.
It's in the DNA.
Yes, that's right, in the DNA. And then guess what? Let y'all know, I'm come take a close-up shot of this. Again, you see what's there? It's the snake. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, this particular handle, I was at Old Fort Jackson, And this is where John and I built the part of it. And I needed to have a shaft to move this with. And I was driving and I saw something that looked like a snake in the tree. It was the branch, the limb of a mulberry tree.
Okay.
So I got up there, took my saw out of the truck, I climbed up in the tree and I cut that branch. And so this is what we have. And from my carving, this is a little more playful with the bulging eyes and what have you, but it still resembles a snake. And Jamal saw it right away. That's the first time that he's seen it. So, but also, there's a face down here.
Okay.
You know, that I carved out. And this is Mr. Blowhard. So a lot of the Africans, and what I found out on several of the trips to the plantations, what I found out that the blacksmiths have their own signature. And then it even goes further that several of the cultures, the blacksmith was a carver.
Right.
And he made a lot of traditional masks and what have you. So even though I came up, carving came to me first, then came the metal.
Right.
And when I started reading about how the blacksmith was a carver too, it was ordained for the blacksmith to do the carving.
Yes, sir.
And I was like, oh man, what's going on here?
Yes.
It's in the DNA.
That's right.
You know, I have no choice.
That's right.
You know,
that's right.
I'm driven to do this.
You
know, so coming from a small child who's been a latchkey kid and developing that skill, I didn't know that I was being taught. I was being, this information was coming out of me.
That's right.
You know? It was coming out of me, and it was my duty, is my purpose to do this.
Yes.
So I enjoy it. You guys come down and see me sometime. You know,
and how can they get in touch with you? That's what it is. How can they get in touch with you?
Well, Jamal can get in contact with me.
So contact me. So then that way I just funnel it on to you. So that's why I do that. Yeah, like with Coach Sam Carter, I do the same thing with them Savannah High people. They always going to use me to do that. So so again, because we do have some people. That's what they want to do. They do want to get in touch with you. So that's why I say, Tanya and all y'all, Sister Betty, all y'all, hit me up. You know, via Run Tell That. Or just Amir Toure, Facebook, then we'll go ahead and get that coordinated for you all. So yes.
Also, Facebook, and I just started a YouTube channel where I'll actually start telling the story from slave to soldier to freedom, a blacksmith story. And you may see some spirit walking around.
That's right. That's all good. That's all good.
Always with
That's
us.
Right. Absolutely.
But those are two other ways we can get in contact with. Just leave a message or what have you. Like I said, I don't do this full time. I do it on the weekends. I'll take weeks off sometimes from my job just to go around the U.S. With the Slave Dwelling Project. And like I said, I do movies. I got 6 movies under my belt, but they all incorporate the telling of our story. And I refuse to do any other acting or what have you, except for that, because I need to do my part. I need to help to tell this story. Matter of fact, the first movie was Forrest Gump. And I'm not going to tell you how, just like I said, all of them had something to do with slavery. What in Forrest Gump, the movie Forrest Gump, had to do with slavery?
You're going to send them to go look at it. Yes. Yes, indeed.
I'll give you a hint. Bubba goes back to enslavement time about how his great-great-grandmother served shrimp gumbo. And there's a guy, Mr. Gump, he has a window in the back of him. There's one enslaved person that's raking the yard, but there's another one that comes into the plantation, and guess what he's doing? He's in a 2-horse buggy coming into the plantation. That's me.
All right.
Amos and Andy. So
yes. And so my cousin, my brother Gilbert Walker, let you know this. Run Tell That is the little brother show of all the ATR shows. See, now with us, Now, the other shows on ATR, they have 2 hours, 2 hours and a half, 5 hours. See, we only have not even 60 minutes. We have like basically 55 minutes or 57 minutes at the most. We are down to the last 2 minutes because we at 6:55 right now. So, my brother, what are the words that you would want to impart to our listening audience, our viewing audience on Run Tell That? Any insight, any information, anything of inspiration, anything? Oh, wait a minute. I almost slipped. Gotta ask this question of you. And then we're going to any words that you want to impart to the viewers. And we always ask the people, yeah, they just put it up. What is the best high school in the United States? And please get it right. Please get it right. I'm going to say, please get it right. Please get it right. What is the best high school in the United States? Please get it right. Nah. Let's see. And they got numbers. They got Savannah High number 3. They got Johnson number 5. Windsor Forest number 6. Groves number 7. Richard Arnold number 8. And so I'm just saying, and everybody else high school number 9. So please get it right. What is the best high school in the United States?
All I'm gonna have to say is I went to the high, and all I have to do is say the high, and everybody knows who the high. But I heard say that they wore red. I don't know. I don't know who they are, but
so ain't no talking. Just let y'all know that. So any inspiration you want to leave with our folks on Run Tell That. So yes, sir.
Yeah, we are great. We're great. I love my culture. For those of you who don't have your culture in your home, but you want your kids taught certain things. You ever heard of osmosis? Sometimes being around things, you may enact a spirit just by chance of going to see your culture. You may enact something in your own child. So I really encourage a lot of you parents, people who are watching, take your children to some of these museums. Tell them about the great things
yes, sir.
that your people used to do, your people are doing, but be sure you tell them that they are great.
That's important. Yes, indeed.
So that is the only thing I would say that would inspire me, to have courage, to believe in myself, is to know who I was.
Powerful. And Reverend Betty Jones, we said thank you for that. And for Debbie Walker, guess what? Wrong. Ain't no Lucy Laney. You were absolutely incorrect. Wrong. And so, yes. So next week, we're going to have Coach Sam Carter edition on Run Tell That, another Savannah High Blue Jacket, the high, they're going to call it. So we're going to do that. We're going to be with the nervous system on next week. Check us out. But glad to be with the great artisan, the preservationist, Gilbert Walker. Proud of you. You are an inspiration to all. And again, if you want to get in touch with him, hit us up so we can pass it on, because we're a conduit. That is, we're a vessel to share this information. So again, to all of you, enjoy yourself and uplift yourself and someone else. Do something each day of your life that will help inspire or lift someone else up. That's what we say. And yes, Queen Quet will be here tomorrow at the Ships of the Sea Museum at 6:30. Queen Quet will be here. And so we're going to be back for her show. So I'll have her on the show in the first week in December. Again, on Run Tell That. Again, glad to see y'all here, because the Mr. Producer, they're about to cut us off. Because again, it's 58 and 53 seconds. Now at 55, they about to cut us off. So we can go on to the rabble. We got to move on to the rabble. But check out the rabble. But share this information. Gilbert Walker, glad to have you. And this is not going to be our last time here. We're going to come back again, because we got to talk about the coins and everything else that he's doing. I ain't want to get into all that. Appreciate you all. Happy Veterans Day too. Peace and blessings.